I started the recording, so go ahead.
All right. So, hey, everybody. Good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. And welcome to our call tonight on growing healthy babies. The Wellness Warrior community loves to educate on the benefits of whole food nutrition. And our mission is to inspire healthy living in our families and our communities. My name is Lisa Pennick, and I am a qualifying senior sales coordinator with Juice Plus, and I love sharing this product and my experience with it with others. I would like to share just a little about why I feel so passionate about getting this information out to expecting and young moms. My family and I have been taking Juice Plus for about 4 years, and we have all noticed benefits. Fewer doctor visits, better skin, fewer allergies, better recovery after workouts, better sleep, just to name a few. My only regret is that I did not start it sooner. I would have loved to have had this when I was pregnant and my kids were little. I can only imagine the impact that Juice Plus would have had on that. The studies that show the effects of fruits and vegetables on young children's health and brain development are simply amazing. I wish that someone would have shared it with me. I have 2 daughters, and when they are ready to start their families, they have both assured me that they will be Juice Plus mamas, but not for a while because they're not ready yet. Which brings me to our topic tonight. At Juice Plus, we have a doctor of pharmacy who so eloquently put together a great educational piece that we couldn't duplicate it as well. So we're going to share that video with you now. It's about 15 minutes long, so sit back, comfy, and enjoy this powerful information. And after the video, we will have a couple of personal stories and then wrap it up. So Heather, if you're ready to share that video, you can get that started.
Have any audio? I don't know if anybody else can hear it.
Did you say something, Emily? Can you hear it, everyone?
I don't have any audio.
Okay, can anyone else hear it? You can.
Can't hear it.
Oh my goodness. Well, that is strange.
You were on mute. That might have been why.
Okay, thank you. Let me see if that's,
These simple and convenient things that you can do for yourself to prepare.
Could you hear it then?
Hello,
Yes.
everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to our webinar tonight. We're happy you're here to learn about optimal nourishment before, during, and after your healthy pregnancy. This is such a special and critical time for moms and the babies, and tonight we want to share with you the evidence-based and really simple and convenient things that you can do for yourself to prepare for and feel comfortable about your choices during this time. I hope you leave this webinar feeling empowered to make simple changes for yourself and your family. So tonight you're going to hear from myself, Annie Ferret, Amanda Warner, and Ashley Byrne. Together we are moms on a mission to share our own personal stories and to inspire other moms to make informed decisions about, our family's health and our own personal health. And when sperm meets egg, if we think about that moment, it is just a miraculous series of processes that start right then and there and ultimately results in trillions of cells. So we're going to approach this topic with humility, and we're going to share what we know today with expecting mothers and women who are looking to expand their family. So I'm going to kick us off by telling you about myself. And as I said, my name is Casey Schloss, and I graduated from the University of Missouri, Kansas City with my doctorate degree in pharmacy in 2010. And I went on to manage a busy community pharmacy in my hometown. And we were busy. Like I said, we dispensed anywhere between 1,500 and 2,000 prescriptions a week for a town of only about 10,000 people. For as long as I can remember, I had been intrigued with how the human body works, why people get sick. And so I went on and developed and implemented our independent clinical program. Then I went on to become a clinical pharmacist for a larger pharmacy chain, became the clinical point person and lead clinical programs. I led the clinical programs for 34 stores in Missouri and Illinois. And in total, I spent 13 years in community pharmacy. Then in 2014, something really started to change. I was prompted by this realization that my pharmacy patients weren't really getting any better. And, I guess some of them benefited from contemporary medicine, but as a whole, they just seemed to get worse and worse. And it led me to really start to question why. And what does it mean to really be healthy? What does it mean to treat from more of a holistic approach? And what does it mean to even prevent disease? So you can say I really had a shift inside to more of a functional pharmacy approach, which is more of a healing-oriented approach that takes into account the whole person, including all aspects of lifestyle. I'm also a mom of two. Our daughter Cameron is almost 4, and Will, our son, is 2. And when I went through my own personal health crisis and autoimmune diagnosis as an adolescent, my hematologist at the time, he's nationally well respected and known, he told me, he said, listen, I'll never forget this, he told me and my mom, when you're ready to start a family, when she's ready to start a family down the line, that I would really need to contact him because I would be extremely high risk as a pregnant mom because of my health history. And further, later, whenever I got pregnant, I discussed it with my OB, and we decided that we would reach out to him if I experienced any complications. And I also told him that I was going to take Juice Plus, but no prenatal. And you're going to hear more about that tonight because of the lack of research on bioavailability of prenatal vitamins. And what I saw as a potential downside, I was just not willing to risk. And I don't know what he thought when I said that, but he was totally supportive of my choice. So what I did during my personal pregnancies, I doubled up on my Juice Plus. I drank 2 shakes a day. I ate healthy stuff every day, at least something. And you know what? I wasn't perfect. I gave in when I had cravings, and within reason, of course. But Chris and I, my husband and I, have been blessed with 2 completely healthy pregnancies and 2 of the healthiest little babies. And I've bounced back from both of these pregnancies very well, breastfed both of my babies for the first year of their lives. And I never did have to reach out to that hematologist, by the way. So after everything I've learned and experienced, in hearing the stories of countless others, I'm 100% convinced that the mom's nutrition, before pregnancy, throughout pregnancy, and post-pregnancy, it matters, and it matters a lot. So what about fertility and diet? And I just want to touch briefly on fertility and diet. We don't take this subject lightly because, I know there are so many women out there who are trying to get pregnant. In fact, about 10% of women, which is 6.1 million women in the US alone, from ages 15 to 44, they have difficulty getting pregnant or staying pregnant. That's according to the CDC. And like I said, I know this is a very sensitive subject, but we know from the research that diet and lifestyle choices can have a big impact on someone's ability to conceive. And I won't go into more detail tonight, but if this is something that is special to your heart and you'd like to learn more about it, we have a really awesome resource for you from an OBGYN talking about this specifically. So be sure, like I said, if this is special to you, be sure to ask the person who invited you to this so that you can get access to that recording. But I think every pregnant mom and a mom who's looking to get pregnant, thinks about what she eats while she's growing her unborn child. And so let's talk about what we put into our bodies before, during, and after pregnancy. According to experts, the good news is it's really not that complicated. The rules for, healthy lifestyle are the same as the rules during pregnancy. So it's the same no matter what, but it's critically important because the choices that we make during pregnancy are going to impact the child's life for the rest of their life. So to put it simply, we should eat a large variety of fruits and vegetables, whole grains, get plenty of exercise, drink lots of water, and get adequate rest. That's no surprise to anyone. I'm sure it's things you already know. But when we're talking about the impact of nutrition, we're talking about cellular health here. So the quality of the eggs being released from mom, the quality of the sperm from the dad, the quality of the embryo that's grown from a single cell to that multicellular being, the quality of the endometrial surroundings. So it's really everything. That's the lining of the womb that the embryo is going to implant into. Reproduction is ultimately impacted by this environment and by nutrition. And I want to quote Dr. Mitra Ray here. She said, I want you to consider all those 6 billion biochemical reactions that occur in each cell of our body every second. This is not to be taken for granted. That is, without proper nutrition, not all of those miraculous reactions will always take place, as they should, to provide optimal health for you and your baby. When the body gets adequate nutrition, it expresses its full complement of active enzymes to make all those trillions of reactions occur. With nutrition, all enzyme-making factories are on for business. They're open for business. Otherwise, the body struggles just to maintain a viable pregnancy, making a limited number of critical enzymes, and the luxuries of additional enzymes needed for optimal health go by the wayside. So what we put in, ladies, really, really does matter. So what about the problem with relying on a vitamin? Most doctors today will recommend a prenatal vitamin. I know that's the standard of care in our country, but we're going to approach this subject tonight because I really want to educate you on the importance of considering whole food supplementation. We know it's critically important to get these required nutrients, right? We know that, especially folate, to prevent, potential problems in pregnancy. But in a prenatal vitamin, we find folic acid, which is the supplement, a synthetic form found in fortified foods and the prenatal vitamins, and it's completely different from naturally occurring folate. Several studies even suggest that it can be harmful to supplement with this folic acid. In addition, and this is honest from my heart to you all, the question my husband and I, my husband's also a pharmacist, the question we asked ourselves when we found out we were pregnant was, how would we even know if a prenatal is going to get into my bloodstream and get to our unborn child when they need it most? And the simple answer we found is there was no prenatal vitamin with any research proving that it would do that. We searched and searched and searched, and the results came back empty every time. So the question we have to ask ourselves, ladies, and teach our friends and our family, every female we know, we have to ask these 3 critically important questions. They're simple, but they're critically important that we have to ask before, during, and after pregnancy. And number 1 is it safe? Is what I'm going to take safe for my body, for my baby? Number 2, will my body absorb it so it can get to my baby and protect me also? And number 3, is it proven to do anything? And that leads me right into this product and program that I'm so excited to share with you guys. And I mentioned it in my story just a little bit ago, but this product, the Juice Plus products and the Shred 10 program, are changing lives all over the world. And the program covers each of those areas that we discussed before. We live in such a polluted world, you guys, that it is not possible to get enough fruits and vegetables just through our regular daily intake to protect our bodies. It's not. With environmental toxins, the food that we eat, things like that, the requirement keeps going up and up, yet the consumption is going down. And at this highly critical time during prenatal life, perinatal development, postnatal care, that's where Juice Plus comes in. And then the Shred 10 program really takes it to the next level because Juice Plus acts as a catalyst for change. And we're going to talk more about Shred 10. We've got an awesome story to share with you in just a little bit. But this program fits in perfectly for families and women before, during, and after pregnancy. So what is it exactly? You might be wondering. What is it? Well, it's a variety of 30 different fruits, vegetables, and berries in capsule or chewable form. And yeah, so you heard me right, capsule or chewable form, 30 different fruits, vegetables, and berries. How convenient is that? We also have a full spectrum plant-based omega and a vegan, low glycemic, gluten-free, dairy-free, plant-based protein that you can use to make shakes or smoothies. Remember what I talked about, having 2 of those a day during pregnancy. Some of the things that really stood out to me as a healthcare professional when I look at this is it's made from vine-ripened produce. So produce is actually at the peak of nutrition. It's tested for purity and tested for nutrient content. It's bioavailable, meaning it actually gets into the bloodstream. We're going to talk about all this in just a minute. And that's very unlike these vitamins that basically are expensive urine because they don't typically get into your blood. And it's the most thoroughly researched nutritional product in the world, and I'll get into that in just a bit. Plus, it's affordable and it's convenient. So it's really important when we combine all of these together, and when we do, we get 45 different plants coursing through our bodies every single day. So let's go back to those questions that I talked about. Number 1, is it safe? This is critically important for us as women to consider this. Definitely during pregnancy and for our children, but really at any time during life. So is it safe? Okay, so Juice Plus, this is fascinating. If you look at the left side of this slide, it's going to give you some really cool information that you need to know for your family. Juice Plus starts with farm fresh nutrition. So each capsule and chewable is the product of high quality plants and seeds. So it really starts, with the seed level. They've been well cultivated and in these fields and orchards, and it's the best fruit from the best fruit and vegetable farmers. So it starts way back then. And after the fruits and vegetables are grown, they're harvested and cleaned and juiced and dried. Then they're blended into this nutritious Juice Plus product that's made part of our healthy diet. So they start with this farm fresh produce, the highest quality fruits and vegetables that they can find. And whenever possible, they're working with mid-sized family farms run by some of the absolute best fruit and vegetable farmers in North America. And that helps the process that really forms the process of hand picking this high quality nutrition. And so if you think about it, you guys, why does it matter that it's vine ripened? And it's because fruits and vegetables lose so much of their nutritional content when they're picked early and when they're shipped long distances. So they solve that problem by locating juicing and drying facilities as close to the farmers as possible. And when it's not close enough, then they'll use this individual quick freezing process to ensure that the freshness stays intact for each fruit and vegetable. And once the produce has been harvested and cleaned, it goes through a proprietary, juicing and drying process. So they start with the whole food, not an isolated supplement. The entire food is put in. They juice the whole fruit vegetable, including peels, leaves, and seeds whenever possible to harvest the highest quality nutrients. And they don't shortcut the drying process like so many others do. And then there's this. And I absolutely loved this, reading this, learning about this, studying this as a mom. So careful testing and independent experts actually ensure the natural purity of the finished products. So remember, we're asking, is this safe? Juice Plus is produced at state-of-the-art facilities that meet or exceed the highest food standards at these, like I said, state-of-the-art facilities. And these standards are, met for blending, encapsulating, and packaging. So the safety standards are reviewed, and the facilities are even inspected by NSF, which is a public health and safety company. So NSF is a not-for-profit, and they inspect and certify the products. And all Juice Plus products undergo independent testing that ensures they meet and exceed, actually not just meet, but it exceeds strict guidelines and deliver only the best quality nutrition. So for us as moms, future moms, people who are pregnant right now, we know with 100% certainty that Juice Plus products are free of any contaminants known to man. So this actually makes it better than organic. And remember what we talked about with the naturally occurring folate versus this folic acid? Juice Plus has this naturally occurring folate from the plants and the lemon peel. That is so important for us to know as moms. So question number two, will my body absorb it? So how about this one? Will it actually get into my bloodstream? Because you need to know this too. Is it going to get to my baby? Is it going to help protect my baby? This is critically important for all of us as well. And we really do need to consider this and take a look at it. And so the good news is that Juice Plus has been proven. It's been proven that the human body is receptive to absorbing the nutrients in Juice Plus. In fact, 19, you can see them listed here, 19 different publications have found that there were significant increases in blood levels of the antioxidants and other phytonutrients after taking Juice Plus. This is fascinating, and this is such good news. So remember what we said earlier about prenatals, that I personally could not find one that had any research proving it's bioavailable. This Juice Plus is completely different and gives us so much peace of mind. So how about, is it proven to do anything? So, okay, we've got it safe for mom and baby. We've got that it gets into the bloodstream. How about number 3, is it proven? Or how do we know if it's actually gonna do anything? Well, we know that it is. So I could talk for days really on this one, but the simple answer to a critically important question is a resounding yes. In fact, Juice Plus is the most thoroughly researched nutritional product in the entire world. More than 30 Juice Plus studies have been conducted in leading hospitals and universities all around the world, including places like Brigham Young University, Georgetown University, Nemours Children's Clinic, University of Maryland School of Medicine, Vanderbilt University, MD Anderson Cancer Center, Yale, and that's just to name a few. You can see them all listed here. And so what are the things that it's proven to do? So this is an extensive list on this slide right here of the things that we know Juice Plus is doing in our bodies every single day, even if we can't feel it. In my opinion, this is so reassuring to know that I had this in my body every day before both of my pregnancies, before, during, and still today, and for every day as long as I live. So I'm excited now to introduce you to a friend of mine. Her name is Annie Ferret. And Annie, we are really excited to hear your story of Juice Plus, why it made sense to you, and how it's helped you so far.
Awesome. Thanks, Casey. Can you guys hear me? Good? Awesome. Like Casey said, my name is Annie, and I'm really, really grateful to just be a person who gets to share this with you. I don't take the miracle that it is to have a healthy pregnancy and deliver a healthy baby. I don't take that lightly at all. And so my story, I have an almost 4-year-old. So
Okay. All right, great. Thank you so much, Heather. Wasn't that a great video? I just absolutely love Casey Schloss. I think every time she does something, I love the way she communicates, and she's just so passionate about it. She's awesome. So we actually are minus one of our participants tonight. So we're going to we have a couple of personal stories. So Emily, you are up first, and everybody, Emily is a friend of mine. She has two beautiful young children, and she's been on Juice Plus, and I am going to let her just share a little bit of her story and why she trusts it. You're up, Emily.
Sure. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. So I actually had taken some notes, and then during the video, I wrote a couple more things down. So that I didn't really think of, but they spurred more thoughts. So let's see, Lisa, how long have I been on Juice Plus? You're gonna have to help me remember.
Oh my goodness. I think it's been,
It hasn't been over a year.
no, I think it's
Okay.
probably been just at or right under. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say about 10 months, somewhere around
Yeah.
there. I don't think I've
Yeah.
hit that year mark. I think that'll be at the very end of this calendar year, early January. And so, but actually, so I've known Lisa for like 7 years.
Wow. Yeah.
I know. So Lisa and I have known each other for quite some time, and she knew me obviously through both pregnancies. She said, I have 2 children. I have a 5-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son. So she knew me through both pregnancies, and I don't think either one of us knew about Juice Plus. I know I didn't during either pregnancy, and wish that I had. But even before I got pregnant, something that they talked about was fertility on the video, and it's something that I'm fairly open about. But my husband and I struggled to get pregnant. We struggled to conceive, and actually went through IVF for both of our children. And while nutrition wouldn't have played necessarily a role in our ability to conceive, me being able to have a better handle on my nutrition when you're going through fertility treatments would have been really valuable. So fortunately, we still got through those. We still have 2 healthy, beautiful kids who are rambunctious and wild, and Lisa has met them both and can speak to that. And here's all the crazy stories about them. So I was actually introduced to Juice Plus through Lisa, but it was really more about my kids. Because I have one that is pretty open to eating stuff, and then I have one who's super picky. She is the textbook picky child when it comes to food. She will eat a total of 2 green foods, avocados and broccoli. Oh, that's it. There's nothing else at the green that child will eat. So we've come up with some tactics to help her too. But I wanted to back up actually just a little bit because I want to try and follow my notes. So when it comes to pregnancy, there's a couple of things that I remember specifically that I know would have been really positively impacted by better nutrition. The first would have been, I distinctly remember, and I don't know if anybody else on this call had this, but in my first trimester of both pregnancies, incredible fatigue. Just, it was intense. Like I would wake up and I would feel like, lead weights on all of my limbs, just this incredible fatigue. And then once I got through that first trimester, it really eased up. But one thing I've shared with Lisa is I noticed when I started consistently taking Juice Plus, it wasn't a jittery feeling ever. It was very much just kind of a feeling of refreshed and having kind of a healthy little boost, but not that like uncomfortable jittery feeling that you can feel when you take like cold medicines and things like that. That's, or just drink too much coffee, like I will occasionally do. So anyhow, I really would have liked to have been able to have it during that time. And then something else that I experienced shortly after the birth of each of my children was hair loss, and fairly significant. And my sister, I have 2 younger sisters, but the sister immediately behind me has had 3 children fairly close together, and she's had significant hair loss after each one. And that poor thing doesn't have much hair left, but she takes Juice Plus actually, and she's been taking the omegas very consistently, and thankfully her hair is really starting to grow back. So that's a post-pregnancy, that's kind of like that 4th trimester thing. Both of my children, they were about 5 or 6 months old when I noticed a really significant hair loss. And again, I didn't know about Juice Plus at the time, but since then I can tell you I take the reds, the greens, the purples, and the omegas. And I shared this with Lisa the last couple times I saw her over the last, 2 months, 3 months, that it's hard to tell on Zoom because we're all virtual, but I have noticeable hair growth that I've always had very thin, fine hair my whole life. My mom, my sisters, we all do. Well, except one sister, she got thick hair somehow, but the rest of us have fairly thin hair, and I've definitely noticed a difference. And again, it's hard to tell, but I think I have pretty decent skin. I just turned 40 this year, so it's not the most flattering lighting in the world in this room. But anyway, that post-pregnancy hair loss, I would have loved to have been able to had the omegas and see how that would have helped it either just grow back more quickly or thick in a more thick way, because that was really tough. Emotionally, that was really tough on me. You're taking care of a baby and then you're losing your hair. It's just awful. So when it comes to kind of the pregnancy piece of it, that's been my experience, and I really wish that I would have known about it sooner, as Lisa had said about herself. But with young kids, I will tell you, my youngest, the 3-year-old, he loves those gummies. I just hand him 3 of them every day, like 3 at a time. He shoves them all in his mouth. He loves them. Of course, he eats more than the picky eater does anyway. So, he's the easier one when it comes to that. The picky eater, she'll eat the red ones. She's a little picky about everything else. There's a little bit of bribery involved to do anything else. And I started later with her. She was 5, she was already 5. He was like 2.5 when we started the gummies. So he was, he never thought twice about it. So start them young. That I will preach. Lisa preached it. Start them young, start them younger than 5, is what I would say. And if they're really picky, much younger than that. But I have to say, just the run-of-the-mill viruses, which 3-year-olds are going to get. We've already, had one this year, but they're short-lived. I can tell you, I've noticed a difference just anecdotally from my oldest one when she was 3 versus my son now, that he takes it consistently, that they're fewer, they're far between, and when they do happen, it doesn't last long. His last virus he had, it was less than 48 hours, and it was completely out of his system. And the last one that went through our house, everybody got it except me. And I'm the only adult in this house that takes them consistently, takes my Juice Plus, and I never even got the slightest symptom. So I think that speaks for itself. So and then the other thing I was going to say is when I got pregnant with the second kid and had my second child, Juice Plus would have been really, really nice to have around, because I just didn't have the time. And I love to cook. I cook quite a bit. I enjoy it. And so we do have, in my mind, a relatively healthy diet. We did have pizza tonight. We had takeout pizza this evening, but most of the time, we have at least one vegetable but as they mentioned on the video, even for someone who loves to cook and likes to go get produce and do all of that, it's impossible for us. We have a busy lifestyle. We both work full time. It's impossible for us to get it all in there. So Juice Plus makes it a possibility to get all of the good stuff in for myself and my kids and my husband when he remembers. So, so if there's any questions or anything, I'd be happy to answer those about how, what we do and any tips or tricks. I do have one really good trick that Lisa taught me to get the greens for the 5-year-old. You just put the capsule in some chocolate milk. It works like a charm. If it works for my daughter, it'll work for anybody's kid. Anybody's kid.
And hopefully, Elizabeth would call you out on that if it didn't work. She would be calling you on that for sure.
Oh, she would. It would have. Yes, it would be a hard no from
Absolutely.
her. So she didn't hear me. She was up in the room.
Thank you so much for sharing. I so appreciate it.
Of course.
I love it. I love it. So thank you so much, Emily. So one other thing I'm going to share real quick, because we are running out of time on our Zoom. But first of all, thanks to all of you for joining us tonight. I hope that you heard something amazing, that you took something away from Casey's video. Please reach out to the person who invited you to this call if you're interested in making Juice Plus part of your life, or if you have any questions at all. And one more thing that I will add is, if any of you have heard of the Add More Good campaign, where you get a free, the shake mix that she was talking about, the complete that Casey mentioned, right now through the end of the year, they are offering a free 15 serving pouch of either the chocolate or the vanilla to the Family Health Study. So they just charge shipping. It's $5. It's like a $30 bag of, shake mix, and it's awesome. My family loves them. As always, kids are, free with an adult sponsor. So that's the beauty of Juice Plus as well. That is, something that you just can't get with store-bought vitamins for sure. So keep that in mind. And like I said, thank you all for joining us tonight. It was great to see all of your faces. And
Thank you.
bye, everyone. Thank
Bye, have a
you.
great